Hello ladies and gents, another famous London Wren church, Church of St Magnus the Martyr. But there's been a church on this site since the 11th or 12th century. That burned down in the Great Fire and then was replaced by this one, which is a Christopher Wren church. And I'll pause you a sec and show you something. This is Fish Street Hill, and see how it lines up completely beautifully with the entrance to the church. This, what you're looking at here, was the old way into the old London Bridge. There's London Bridge just there, and the original London Bridge went through the churchyard of St Magnus the Martyr. Some of the stones of it are still over there, and there are actually some at Barking, at the ruins of Barking Abbey. So join me as we cross over the road and enjoy this lovely church. There is restoration work going on, ever changing London. Well, the churches need their restoration. This churchyard formed part of the roadway approach to Old London Bridge from 1176 to 1831. Oh, it smells of gas here as well, really strong gas. The only original parts of the old church to survive is this. The entrance into the up into the bell tower. The rest of it is pretty much a Wren jobby. And this here, this little curio, is from Roman Wharf, AD 751. Found on Fish Street Hill in 1931. So that's remnants of old London. You've got the parish boundary markers here, look. St MM 1787, St MM 1817, 1791, 1851, a later one. As the London grew around this church, it probably lost a lot of its boundaries. But over here, if they're still there, I don't know if they are or not. There should be some stones. No, it's blocked off, I'm afraid, that bit, unless it's round this bit. Bear with me a moment. Around here. Now, well, normally you can get here where this is, and there are Roman stones, Roman stones and stones from Old London Bridge. We'll have a look at some of the stones of London Bridge at Barking Abbey at the end of the video. That's up into this belfry. And we shall go in. And this here is a parish fire engine. There's a lot of history in this one. Fire engine, late 17th, early 18th century. The only fire engines available during the Great Fire were manually operated by hydraulic pumps, which were difficult to manoeuvre around narrow streets. The real development in the fire engine design came during the 1670s, when Dutchman Jan van der Heyden devised a special hose and suction pipe, and his fellow countryman John Lofting, a resident of London, started manufacturing them. That's fascinating. So really that's the only kind of things, that and squirts, that they had to fight the Great Fire of London with. That's how it got out of hand so quickly. It smells very strongly of lilies in this church. It's a lovely church. This is one of the ones I very first covered when I started the page. There is a really, really amazing object in this church, which you'll enjoy seeing, I think. Well, I know. Our Christmas church series I won't take too many pictures of. I've got a lot of pictures built up on my phone. A lot. St Michael. St Thomas, this one. St Thomas the Martyr, that's Thomas the Becket. London Bridge as it approached. Memorials I'll be doing as separate things probably on from now, where there are plenty or enough to warrant that. I can take pictures with the nighttime mode, you see. Look at the shit mounted on the wall, look. St Margaret, this window is. And the monument. The monument to the Great Fire of London, which this church is in the shadow of at the that's kind of at the top of Fish Street Hill, that monument. And this is St Magnus the Martyr. Yeah, I covered this one round about when I first started the page or just after, but it wasn't at Christmas time, so this was one of the ones I wanted to catch in Christmas mode. And this is St Magnus. For whom, of course, this church is named. You'll see. Lucky with our churches in London, aren't we? And here we have this beautiful nativity scene. Baby Jesus hasn't been put in his crib yet. They'll probably do that on Christmas Day, I should think. The vestments given for use at Requiem altar are in memory of Mary Ann Pyle Bridges and of her eldest son Edward Kenneth, killed by the Japanese, Singapore, 24th February 1942, aged 19 years, and who has no known grave. Of your charity pray for the souls of Pyle Bridges family, who love this church and the faith it proclaims. Two o'clock. This statue is based on the figure of Jesus Christ, painted by Van Eyck in his Ghent altarpiece. As you can see, there are plenty of memorials as well. And look, one of the old bread or doll cupboards. That's where On the Doll comes from. They reused much of the stone when they rebuilt this church after the fire, including the old flagstones. And old pews as well, which is nice to see. I normally save the high altar till last, but I am saving a particular thing for last today. The architecture in this church is absolutely stunning, it really is. And as I have said many times, we are lucky to have these places to come to. And these here are what we've seen in lots of the London churches. These are the sword rests for the mayors and dignitaries and nobles. 1708 this one's from. Because no man could carry a sheathed or unsheathed sword in a church. It had to be put aside. God's peace had to be protected at all times, including whether you're a mayor, a king or whatever. And this one's the altar to the Virgin Mary. I'll take pictures with the night vision camera thing. It intrigued me, that too, because that looks like either the Turin Shroud or St Veronica's handkerchief. Maria Misericordiae. And as I say, you've got some really gorgeous stained glass in this church. lots of memorials, which is nice to see, because a lot of the London churches, not a lot, but quite a few of them have taken them down. There'll probably be a part 1 and part 2 to this. You can see there are people buried all around us, and some of them are so worn away that you can't really make much out. Buried under the pews and everywhere. Buried under the pews and everywhere. Interesting. Stained glass is really lovely in this church, as I've said. And look at the old benches, look. There's a lot of original features left in this one. His eye was set aside for silent prayer. The Blessed Sacrament is reserved on the altar. These here are the church warden's benches. And because this church is... Go on, mate, it's alright, I'm only filming up there. Alright, cheers, thank you. Because this church is twinned with others that were lost churches, it has the distinction of having 6 church wardens.
It's fine, I won't charge you about it.
Stunning architecture in this one, isn't it? And here is the other one.
So this is all that's arrived. So actually, now is probably, unless you want to rest but we've actually got less to do now than we thought we would, because there's no wine and no, because it's all in the car somewhere. So what have you forgotten? Women and envelopes and the napkins and the covers. I know. And because it was smaller boxes, I had all stacked in my hands. So I don't get any of that, and I took them off to get those in. And then
Now join me for the next part of the video. Hello ladies and gents, and before we go on to part 2, as I won't have enough time to cover it for Facebook about my sound being muted, which mutes me after 35 minutes and so many seconds. As I said, the stones of Old London Bridge. We're at Barking here, it's the Curfew Tower, it's the town over there. And all round the back, it's old granite blocks. This granite block formed part of the London Bridge, which was opened by William IV in 1831 and demolished in 1968, and that's the old London Bridge that the Americans built. So yeah, that's our little piece of London Bridge history, from the Church of St Magnus the Martyr all the way to Barking, which was once Essex but is now in London. So yeah, I hope you all found that little snippet interesting. Anyway, now back to the church for part 2.